What up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Cafecito and Kane show. Got a good show lined up for you tonight. Got a good guest. He is right now working out some kinks with his audio, but hopefully he'll be on in the next couple of minutes. It's first time I've had him on. He's very entertaining. I think anybody, if you're on Kane's Twitter, you'll know who he is. See you guys coming into the chat now. Please, on your way in, hit that like button. But yeah, I know I did my show already covering the or recapping the win against FSU. We won't spend too much time talking about that because they're in the rear view. It's in the past. We're going to turn the page on FSU, but I'm going to get my guests' final thoughts on that before we turn it over to then focus on Duke. Hoodie Girl, what's going on? Everything's good on my end. Kane thing, what's going on? So yeah, we're definitely going to talk some Duke. Oh, here he is. Let's see if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you, sir. You in Miami, Ricky, if you don't know who this is, I mean, where have you been? If you're on Kane's Twitter, you know who he is. You are very entertaining. Seeing you go back and forth with Gator and Seminole fans, it's a delight. It's, when I have a little downtime at work, I turn on the X app, and of course, your stuff usually makes me laugh. So welcome.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, bro.
No problem. But yeah, man, just like we said in our DMs, I wanted to have you on to talk a little. Definitely great time to have you on because we just pounded FSU into submission. Yep. So would love to get, before we turn the page for the last time on FSU and move on to Duke, I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on that. And I'm sure you went to the game on Saturday. Yeah, so tell me, overall thoughts. First of all, your experience at the stadium, because, it's not very often, unfortunately, that we get a sellout like that. It's usually for the big special games. And, to be able to take our arch rival's soul the way we did, and also them not having a lot of fans there, it was just a wonderful night in general. What was your experience overall?
It was one of the more stranger FSU games I've ever been to. Only because usually when you go to a Miami FSU game, it's, especially at Hard Rock, it's usually a split crowd. Mm-hmm. Walking in the stadium, it was like all orange and green. I would say 5% of the crowd was FSU, so that kind of was weird for me. But the overall game experience was cool. The stadium was loud; it was electric in there. I didn't like how our fan base was reacting to the game. In real time, I was looking at the some of the reactions from the fans. They're saying, we're not throwing the ball. We should be beating them by more. I thought we executed the game plan very well. Like Coach Cristobal said today when he was talking to Joe Zagacki, they dared us to run the ball. So we ran the ball down their throats. I thought, we imposed our will on their defense. If you've ever played football, that's probably one of the more dominating ways to win a game, is just literally imposing your will, just smashing them in the mouth and forcing them to quit. And I think Mike did a good job of that. And I think as a fan of the Hurricanes right now, I'm just very pleased that towards the second half of the season, we actually have a running game, because we're going to need it come November and if we're going into the postseason. So that was cool to see. Another part of the game that I think I enjoyed was just seeing the fan base at the stadium just happy to see us beat FSU in the way that we beat FSU. I think it's been a long time coming. Last time we beat them was the 52-7. I think it was 52-7 when we beat up on Jordan Travis. Mm-hmm. So it was just an overall great experience. I had a great time at the game. It was a great way to close a chapter on FSU week.
For sure. Yeah, normally, at least in 2022, I remember it had to have been at least 35% FSU fans, maybe even a little bit more, because they knew what was coming that day. But this time, yeah, it reminded me of the Notre Dame game in 2017.
Right.
There may have been 4 or 5% of the crowd Notre Dame fans that night. It was the same thing. I think FSU's band had more people than actual fans of the game.
Right.
That's not an exaggeration.
It was bad.
But see Coach AJ here. Never forget Ricky getting kicked out and making his way to the field. What's he talking about there? I don't know this story.
So yeah, for those that don't know, I got kicked out. Well, 2018, we played North Carolina. That's the last time we've actually beat North Carolina.
I remember that one. Thursday
Yeah,
night game.
I was being a nuisance in the crowd, and I had a video that went viral, and they took away my season tickets. I got banned, and then the very next week was FSU. So that was the week where we came back on them when N'Kosi Perry led that epic comeback. I got to the stadium. They told me my tickets were banned, so I couldn't go to that game. So the week after that, I believe it was the week after that, we played Duke. Shelton, shout out to Shelton, who wears the Canes gear every game. I reached out to him. I said, "Hey man, they banned me from the stadium. You think I can get one of your uniforms?" So he gave me a full uniform. Got in the stadium, and I was actually on the field. I got to do the flag presentation. They had no idea it was me. So, yeah, it was a pretty cool situation. But yeah, that's what he's referring to. Good times.
That is hilarious. Well, obviously you got it all. Whatever it was, you got it all sorted out because you're at the games now.
We're good now.
Good. That's good to hear because yeah, no, definitely like I catch your videos sometimes of like you in the crowd once we're like kicking the team's ass, and it's always fun. And was it you that you were? I think it was you. You were talking smack to some FSU fan like in the first row.
Yeah. He was. The score was something silly, and he was just going crazy, saying we suck, we're not going to cover. He was just talking crazy. So I was just reminding him to just look at the scoreboard. So it was stupid. It was very lighthearted though.
Yeah. Flo, what's going on, sir?
Shout out Flo, my guy.
Shout out to Flo. He's always lurking in the shadows. He's always watching. Yeah, Kane thing brought up a good point. Extra special for Mario. He loves that run game. I'm sure it was very satisfying for him being an offensive lineman when they had those two safeties kind of just pinned back there. And they're like, hey, we dare you to run the ball. Mario's like, okay. Sure. You want to dance? Let's dance. Yeah, so very satisfying. But no, all in all, great win. It is a rivalry game, so I'm glad they prepared as such. I'm glad they didn't take any unnecessary risks during the game. They knew they could just salt away that game and drain the clock, and like they had no chance.
So you were good with the game plan?
I was good with it. Yeah, I was one of the few fans that was like, you know what? That's what they're giving us. Why take a chance? If doing it this way, you'll cruise to like this is what I was saying early in the game when it's clear that's what they were doing. It's like you're going to cruise to like a 17 to 21 point win doing this. Just take it. It doesn't have to be a 50-point win. Just get the win. You got all these recruits here. Don't take any chances of like a pick six or something that might give them hope, Just take their hope away from the beginning. So I was fine with it.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I saw fans saying, "Oh, Cam's not going to get his 8th straight 300-yard game. He didn't throw a touchdown pass. It's going to screw up his Heisman." I'm like, who cares, man? We won the game. That's what you want. And we won by 3 points. 3 scores. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Hoodie girl got she has a story of getting kicked out of a North Carolina game from years ago.
It's always funny.
And she if I remember the story correctly, Hoodie girl, I don't think you even like did anything. They kicked you out for like basically nothing.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's turn the page on FSU, on those losers, and let's focus on Duke, on our next opponent, the Cuba versus Cuba, the Hialeah Bowl, the Bay of Pigs Bowl, whatever they want to call it. Right now, Miami's a 20.5 point favorite, I think, last time I checked, something like that. We're like a 3 touchdown favorite.
Right.
What did you think of that spread first? I mean, I don't know if you're a gambling guy at all, but as far as just the spread goes, like, did you think were you surprised by that, or you're like, nah, that sounds about right?
I'm kind of shocked by that spread. I didn't think it was going to be 20. I thought it was going to be more around 13, 12, 13, somewhere around there. 20 they're predicting like a massacre with that spread. I don't know, man. Like Duke, I can't really put my finger on Duke. I think their offense is putrid. Like, I don't really have much faith in their quarterback, Miles Murphy. I think that's his name. Is it Miles Murphy?
Malik Murphy.
Malik Murphy. I think they have a decent wide receiver. I think his name is Moore. He's all right. But aside from that, their offense doesn't put any fear in my heart. It's just they create a lot of turnovers. So I think in the SMU game they had 6. They could have had like 7 or 8. if they recovered a couple of fumbles at their
Mhm.
game. But, I mean, aside from that, I'm not really. There's nothing that Duke does that really puts any fear in my heart that I don't think Miami can overcome. Even if we have a couple of mistakes, I still think our offense is good enough to overcome those mistakes. It's just a matter of I think something catastrophic would have to happen in order for this game to be somewhat close. Still
Yeah.
surprised by the spread though. 20 is a lot.
Yeah, 20 is a lot in my opinion. What up, John? Ready for Manny Mania Bowl? How do you think the fans react to Manny? Poorly. I think they react poorly to him. I don't think there's I mean, some fans are kind of split. I know some fans talk good about him, like, yeah, he didn't have the resources. Most fans are, they know, they kind of know what's up.
I think if this game was the first game of the season, he'd probably get more of a pop. But with it being week 9, we're 8-0, and Mario's vision is coming together, those fans that were swaying like on the fence, I think they're pretty much over that Manny situation.
Probably. There's going to be like a smattering of boos, though. Like the reception will be more cold than warm,
Right.
is what I think.
I agree.
Do you think we're going to have to play the same style offense because Manny zone blitz like 80% of the time? I don't know about you. I see this game going similar to the FSU game, where we're going to have to establish the run again, probably drain a lot of clock. I don't think we're going to put 50 on them, but I think we're going to pound them into submission. Again, maybe use some quick slants, some bubble screens. I know Georgia Tech in particular had a lot of success just getting the ball out quickly. We may have to do a lot of the same. I don't know. What do you think? To you, what are some keys on offense?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to establish the run for sure, and especially if you look at Manny's film, like his defense, he always struggled against the run. I don't know if you remember that North Carolina game, gave up over 700 yards rushing.
I remember.
Like, he's always struggled against the run, and I think especially recently, the last couple of weeks, our run scheme has looked a lot better. I think the return of Jalen Rivers has helped as well with that. So I'm okay with having the same exact game plans we had with FSU. It works. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Don't put the ball in harm's way. They rely on turnovers, so don't even give them the opportunity to have those turnovers. Just beat them into submission, like you said, and get out of there with a win. So I think the short passes, Cam taking the safe throws, taking the underneath routes, stuff like that. Same exact game plan. Yeah, that's what I think. I think that's what we'll see from the offense this week.
I would love to see a lot more drag routes. I think matching our slot guys and our tight ends, even we barely used the tight ends in the last game, but matching up those guys on their linebackers, I think would kill them.
Our tight end seam routes, I think that would be,
or that, yeah.
I would like to see more of those. Yeah, I think there's a lot left that this offense can still do that we haven't done this year, even with us having as much success as we've had. I'm not sure if that's a mixture of Cam buying more time, standing in the pocket a lot more. I don't know what the situation is there, but I feel like there's a lot more route concepts that we can run that we haven't seen yet from this offense.
Knowing Mario and Dawson, yeah, I think that's accurate. I think they've probably dipped into like maybe half the playbook at this point.
Right.
Yeah, because
they haven't had to need to. They haven't really needed to.
Right. No, that's what I was getting at. They haven't really had to, and why? Why give that stuff away if I know we're not halfway. We're 8 games into the regular season, so it's 2/3 over, but not really because you still got possible playoff games. So you're like barely getting into the halfway point of this marathon that you could be going on.
Right. If you go to the national championship, this is the halfway point. So that's
correct. 16 games. That's kind of crazy, man. That if you're in the upper echelons and you're playing like Final Four, the national championship game, you're playing like an NFL season pretty much.
Yeah, that's what it is now. You get the one bye week if you win the championship game. Yeah, the conference championship, I believe it is. You get a bye. Aside from that, you still have another 2 or 3 games to play.
We get a bye week on the 16th, which is awesome. We get one of that rare second bye week that some teams get. That is freaking that's amazing.
I think we get it after the Georgia Tech game, and then we play Wake Forest, I think.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
That's like perfect.
Perfect. Yeah. The schedule lined up beautifully for us this year. Like, it couldn't line up any better.
No, I agree. put pressure on the QB. He has about 44% completion rating. Yeah. No. I agree. No, like what you said, their offense is not good at all. While they do have athletes.
Yeah.
I think Star Thomas, I think is his name. Their running back is solid. But he was kind of beating up on bad teams. Their O-line is surprisingly good. I thought it was going to be really bad. I'm watching film. I'm like, oh, their guys can block. They're not the problem. It's more quarterback kind of hooking up with the receivers. It's just not there. Yeah. And also to your point, getting 6 takeaways or 7 takeaways, and they put up 21 points in regulation. Dude, that's like hard to do to only score 21.
Yeah. That's really hard. And that's what I'm saying. Like, their offense is just not good. The defense could have had 9 turnovers that game. I don't think they would have scored more than 21. Their third down conversion isn't good. You know, it starts with the quarterback position. I just think the quarterback is just up and down. Like, his numbers are decent. He has 17 touchdowns I think I saw 17 touchdown passes and 5 interceptions, but it was against not the competition wasn't the greatest. You know, he just doesn't look good. We shouldn't struggle with this guy at all.
I think I agree with you. Yeah, it's one of those things now talking it out with you. I'm like, man, you know what? 20 points doesn't seem – actually, that sounds about right.
All right.
That sounds about right. So, Vegas tends to know what they're doing. The spread was 21.5 against FSU, and we won by 22. So
have we I think we've covered every game this year, no?
We covered against Louisville, not Cal.
Yeah, that's right.
Cover against Virginia Tech? We didn't cover because we were like 2 touchdown favorites.
You're right. I think those are the only.
Yeah, I think those are the only 2. So, we're starting to cover. That's good. That's good. That win against Louisville, I think, was a huge win because someone made a comment in the chat that I had that as a loss going into the season. Yes, I did. I had that as a loss.
Me too.
Yeah. So, we're already ahead of my schedule, so they won that game. Just getting out of Louisville, Kentucky with a win is key. I don't care how you did it. Just get out of there with a win.
Same.
Yeah.
And
really,
I think it was after a bye week, which was another omen that we had.
Another curse broken. And like I said about that game, when Martinez went beast mode and scored that touchdown and put us up 2 scores, I thought the game was a wrap right there. It wasn't like down to the absolute wire like the other 2 games.
Yeah.
Chris says, John, I said earlier this season, this is the game we got to watch. Be careful, Manny Diaz. Duke, I can't wait. Contrast in styles. Manny's going to try to blitz. Yes, come after us.
Yep.
I think that's exactly what Mario wants.
Yeah. I think they're anticipating that. They'll be ready for that.
Yeah. No, I think they would too. So looking ahead to the rest of the season. So after them, we got Georgia Tech on the road, which I think could be a sneaky tough game. I mean, Georgia Tech for 20 years has been giving us fits, on and off. And then after that, you got the bye week, which is amazing. Then you got Wake Forest. They're not good. And then you got Syracuse at the end of the season. That could also be like, I think the toughest game remaining is the Syracuse game. How do you feel about before I ask you that, did you have a win-loss prediction heading into the season?
Yeah, I did actually. I had us at 10-2. I had us losing Louisville, and I had us losing the Syracuse game only because historically, playing Syracuse at home, they've always given the top ACC contender problems, whether it was FSU when they were good, Clemson when they were good. For whatever reason, at the end of the season, that Syracuse game for whoever the ACC top contender is, they've always given them fits. So after seeing Syracuse's last game, I forgot who they played recently, the quarterback threw like 4 or 5 picks. I was like, maybe they're not as good as I thought they were going to be. But I think, like you said, Syracuse is the toughest remaining game on the schedule. We'll see. That Georgia Tech one is kind of scary. So I don't know if Haynes King is back healthy, but playing them at home is probably going to be a night game. We'll see.
You know they are 100% saving him for Miami.
Yeah, we know how that goes. You saw what happened with Ott for Cal. He got rest for the Miami game. Then it played the 2 games after that. It always works that way.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Montrell Jordan or Montrell Johnson for UF? Johnson. He was out the entire camp. was ready to go for Miami. I think he's out now again, so it always works out that way for us. It's fine.
Because they rushed him back. They were like, no, we have to have him for Miami. Like, we are their Super Bowl.
Which didn't matter.
No, didn't matter at all. Hi, John. Just wondering if the Noel fans are still wearing their "Sucks to Be You" shirts. Not only the Noles, multiple schools. I think like 20 or 30 schools came out with those shirts when the whole Nevin Shapiro thing was happening. That's when they came out.
I've seen so many colorways of that shirt. Like
I've seen like teams we don't even play with that shirt.
Right.
Like it's crazy. But no, Miami's not relevant.
Yeah, I know.
Let's see. Good evening. The Carrier Dome has been hell for teams. I know historically for Miami. Actually, it's funny. I was just watching because when I'm bored, I watch like old games, like the no huddle games that are like 38, 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
I was watching the game from 92 when I don't know if you're familiar with that one. When I think it was towards the end of the season, Gino Torretta was on his Heisman run. We were undefeated and we were playing Syracuse, who was like number 8 or number 9. It's a fun one to go back and watch. We won like on the final drive. We were the better team. You could tell, but yeah, it's like once their crowd got into it, it was like, yeah, it was a problem. And I'm thinking like the 98 game when they blasted us, Donovan McNabb.
I was just going to tell you that game with Donovan McNabb and Rob Conrad. Oh God, I hate to this day. I still hate Syracuse because of that game. They killed us. It was like 62, something like that.
62-13, I think, was the score. 61-13, something like that. They blasted us. And it was for the Big East title. That was the crazy part. We were both ranked.
Right.
Yeah, the only one I can remember that we just like went in there and handled business in that stadium, maybe was the 2002 game that Sean Taylor had the fake punt and he threw for a touchdown or something. That's the only one. We've always had like issues going up there.
Yeah, and like I said, even more recently, like the Jameis Winston years and the Clemson years from Taj Boyd on, like they've always given those teams fits.
Yeah, and they struggled against obviously against Pitt. Pitt, I just think is that good.
Pitt is good. Eli Holstein, I think is his name. He's really good. Like that team.
Yeah, and he's a little banged up, but I think he's going to play this weekend against SMU. Let me ask you this: who do you think? Like, say it's not Clemson, or you know what? Let's throw Clemson in there. Who would you want to face in the ACC championship game should we win out and make it there?
If I had my pick, SMU. If I had my pick, I want the easiest possible route.
Of course.
What I think was more likely to happen is going to be out of Clemson and Pitt, and I think right now I'm leaning more towards Pitt right now. I think they're the more complete team, and they look good, man. Like they can run the ball, throw the ball. The defense is, that defensive Pat Narduzzi is always going to have a good defensive line. They rush the passer well. Like Pitt's looking good, man. So Clemson has a tough 4-game stretch coming up. I don't think out of it unscathed. So I think Pitt has a easier path. We'll see what happens with SMU. They almost lost this past week. Manny could have beat them, but he screwed that up. So I mean, we'll see. I want SMU, but I can see it being Pitt.
I could see it being Pitt also, and I could see them being a tough matchup. And you're right. I don't think Clemson gets through this little stretch unscathed. I think they lose 1 or 2.
Yeah, I think so.
And then South Carolina to finish off the year, that's their rival, which it wouldn't mean anything for the ACC. But then again, it kind of does because I think your overall ranking comes into play.
Your wins and losses, your overall ranking.
Yeah, that messes all that up if you lose that game.
Right. So if they're tied with Pitt or SMU with 1 loss and Pitt is ranked higher than them, I think Pitt would get that would be tricky because it depends who beat them. If Pitt beat them, so they would get it anyway. So it's going to get tricky at the end, though.
Yeah, but it's good for us that all those teams play each other.
Exactly.
It's perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah. We'll pull this up. What's Ricky's thoughts on hoodies?
I love hoodies. I actually have to get one of your hoodies. I have to get one of yours, but yes, I love hoodies, and the hoodie weather's coming up, so I'll definitely get one of your hoodies.
Yeah. You hear that, Melissa? You got another customer. Let's see. Wins and losses versus common conference opponents. Okay. Yeah, because I heard Yeah, I didn't know if this was true. I thought this was dumb that it's like the strength of schedule of the teams you face, like their final win-loss record of the teams you face. So it's like, well, that's kind of out of your control.
Sure.
Like, I don't know if I like that, but I guess that comes into play as well. That's the whole three-way tie thing, that
Right.
scenario they were talking about. But I don't think that's going to happen.
No. Well, I mean, Miami would have to lose a game. Clemson would lose a game. Pitt loses a game. SMU loses a game. It's Does SMU play Clemson this year?
No, SMU does not play Clemson. Clemson plays Pitt. They play Virginia Tech.
I know they got Virginia Tech, which is going to be another sneaky one for them.
Oh, not just sneaky. I think Virginia Tech beats them.
Yeah,
I'm calling an upset right now.
It's in Blacksburg, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm calling an upset. And then Pitt is like a plus 225 underdog against SMU on Saturday. I'm like, do they see something we're not seeing? I think Pitt's gonna kill them.
I think SMU gets blown out. I honestly, I think it's bad. I get thinking it's bad for them.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Miami Pitt in the ACC championship game.
I mean, that's a team we're used to playing. We've played them many times. We beat them in 2021, Manny's last year, when they had Kenny Pickett and they won the conference, and we beat them.
Yeah,
in their house.
That game. Elijah Arroyo scored his first touchdown as a King in that game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he tore it up. I remember that one. But yeah, man. So cool. So I like how things are sitting right now. 8-0. You got 4 games to go. Playing meaningful football in November is a fun thing. That's something we're not used to doing, but like you said, it's laid out perfectly for us. You literally, if we just win out, everything will work itself out. I'm not worried about the 3-way tie thing. The chips will fall where they may. Yeah. We have no control over it, so I think all that stuff will work out. But yeah, man. So final thoughts, just like how confident are you going into this stretch run? Because this is where guys are more banged up. Yeah. Weather's a little cooler. The games matter a little more. Now it's almost like a battle of attrition. Now you really got to dig down deep to win these games. Even though you should win these games, it's a mental battle. Like, how good are you feeling about the team heading into this stretch run?
I feel pretty good because I feel like the team has been, one, battle tested. I think, 2, the team has, we have a lot of seniors on that team. A lot of guys who played a lot of football, seen a lot of football, and I think the guys are locked in. We have one game on the road where I think weather is going to be an issue, which is the Georgia Tech game. When we play Syracuse, it'll be at a dome, so I don't think weather will be a factor there. So I think everything is lined up, like we've been saying, for Miami to have success. We have a bye week. I just think this team is different. I think they're hungry. The only thing that I'm worried about, honestly, the rest of the way is key injuries. If we can stay healthy, I think we can beat anybody that we play. So my original prediction was 10-2, but I can easily see 12-0 going into the ACC championship, and that's what I'm hoping for.
I could see it too. I could totally see it too. Louisville, Clemson. I think that's this Saturday night game. That's
going to be the game. And the good thing about it is I'll be able to be at home and enjoy that because that 12:00 game. Are you going to the game this week?
This one, I'm sitting this one out. I'll be watching it at home, but I'll definitely go to the Wake Forest, the home finale. Yeah, I always try to go to the last one. Yeah.
Do you have Louisville winning this game, or you have Clemson winning this game?
I got Clemson winning this game, but it's an interesting one. I'm not super confident about it.
Yeah,
I'll just put it that way. Coach Braum is just too good of a play caller. I see this being a shootout. Or then again, I could totally see Clemson's defense like shutting them down, and then they start making the comparisons. Oh, look, Miami couldn't shut them down. Look what Clemson did, and they start making that comparison. I could totally see that, but no, we'll see what happens, man. Oh, that's right. Lacey opted out. They're missing a key player.
Yeah, he's the one that had the kick return on us.
Mm-hmm. He had the kick return on us. He had good tape against Miami, and he's like, deuces, I'm out. Yeah, who's going to Charlotte? I think I'll be sitting that one out. Would you go to Charlotte if they go to ACC championship?
I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to catch as many Cam Ward games as I possibly can. this is a rare thing for us. So we'll see.
Yeah. No, man. But yeah, good stuff. So we'll see what happens. Or I can't believe we're 8 games in. There's only 4 games left. It feels like the season started like a couple weeks ago.
That Florida game felt like 2 weeks ago.
I know, it felt recent. We had the Flow watch party in Orlando for that one, and that does not feel like it was 9 weeks ago.
And it's crazy because I feel like the last 4 or 5 weeks has aged me with how stressful it's been. But coming out, I guess on the winning side, it kind of feels like where did the time go? So
yeah,
time flies.
Sure, correct. No, I'm sure FSU and Florida seasons have like dragged.
Yeah, feels like forever. Yeah,
feels like forever. But yeah, man.
5 and 7 season felt like forever.
Yes, we just wanted it to end. Yeah, I remember that. That felt like forever. But anyway, yeah, man. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
No, not really, man. Just go Canes as always, and appreciate everybody for support. Hey, man, big fan of you, man. I watch your channel all the time. You and Flo on Sundays, and I watch your channel on Tuesdays, man. Big fan of your work, and thanks for having me on, bro.
Oh, thanks, man. No, I really appreciate it. Again, keep talking smack to all those people on Twitter because, again, I find it very entertaining. So, and go follow Ricky at You in Miami on Twitter or X. Help him build his following. So yeah, man. As always, you know what it's about. Throw up those U's. Go Canes. Have a good night, everybody.